Welcome to Out of Bounds.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. I'm Dan Reefer. He's Alex Walker. Maria Montgomery has off tonight. Kentucky is the SEC regular season champ for the 49th time in program history and the 6th time under John Calipari after taking care of business against Auburn Saturday.
And the Cats are historically very good when playing on Leap Day of all times. They're now 8-2 all time and have won 7 in a row on February 29th. The last time UK lost on Leap Day was 1936.
Wow. Well, let's get to the highlights from the win over Auburn. The Tigers were torching the Nets early. Danjel Purifoy had hit just 3 of his previous 20 shots from 3. He starts the game 3 for 3 from beyond the arc. Auburn made its first 4 3-pointers and built a 20-11 lead. But then the Cats put together some kind of run, outscoring the Tigers 20-3 to take a 31-23 lead.
And even though it remained close throughout, UK never trailed again after that. Emmanuel quickly finished with a game-high 18 points and a career-high 12 boards. He went 11 for 11 at the free throw line, and as a team, the Cats were 27 of 33 from the charity stripe. Maxey had a big game as well, 17 points and 7 rebounds.
Kentucky clamped down defensively. Auburn went cold shooting, just 28% in the second half. They wound up going 5 of 30 from 3 after that 4 for 4 start. And it was that defense that kept the Cats on top when they went more than 7 minutes without a field goal in the second half.
Yeah, and Auburn has relied a lot, right, on creating turnovers this season. It didn't happen in Rupp Arena Saturday, with the Cats committing just 7 turnovers. Also, Kentucky was better at limiting the Tigers on the offensive glass than in the first meeting at Auburn.
73-66 was the final score as UK extends its win streak to 8 games, improving to 24-5, 14-2 in conference play. Let's get to the post-game comments, sponsored by the Bob Allen Motor Mall.
We're 2 for 13 from the 3, folks, and only have 7 turnovers, something we've been talking about. This team is they're getting better. They're doing it, but that was another rock fight. That was when you went up for a rebound, you were feeling stuff. Something in your neck, something in your back. When you were coming off a screen or you were driving, it wasn't like a clear lane. And we proved to us that in that kind of game where we're letting it go, that we could perform.
Well, congratulate Kentucky on being regular season champions of our league. I think they're the best team in our league. They're the hottest team in our league. They're physical offensively. I mean, they got all the pieces.
Never thought I'd hear Bruce Pearl say he's rooting for Kentucky.
No.
That's coming up a little bit later. But the Cats seem to be the SEC's best shot at a representative in this year's Final Four.
Yeah, speaking of which, let's take a look at UK's updated tournament resume. The Cats have moved up to number 14 in the net rankings, the highest they've been this season, but still down at 26 in the KenPom rankings. However, those KenPom rankings are a bit out of whack this year. For instance, Purdue is 15 and 14, yet is ahead of UK at number 25. There are a bunch of double-digit lost teams ahead of UK.
Yeah, the win over Auburn gave UK another quad 1 win. We're not going to go into explaining the whole quad system again, but just know that quad 1 wins are the best, and UK is now 7-3 in quad 1 matchups. Those are wins over Michigan State, which is 7th in the net, Louisville, which is 9th in the net, along with wins against Texas Tech, Auburn, LSU, Arkansas, and Tennessee. That game at Florida next Saturday, that is a quad 1 game.
And of course, the worst losses are Evansville and Utah. Utah counts as a quad 2 loss, but Evansville is a quad 4 loss, the worst you can have. And the Purple Aces just wrapped up the regular season Saturday by finishing 0-18 in the Missouri Valley Conference. But John Calipari is absolutely sick of hearing about that loss.
Cal, I know you're here chasing national championships, not conference championships, but in a season where you lose to Evansville and you have a couple losses in Las Vegas. And
you know what's amazing?
Does it
when
matter
anybody
to
talks
these guys?
about our season, you know what they say? Evansville, Evansville, Evansville. I'm like, are you talking about that game November 12th where EJ did not play in the game and Ashton was sick and so was Nick and we played with 2 guys with the flu? That game?
Yes.
That's the one you're talking about?
All that stuff early.
Can you say it for me again? Evansville, Evansville, Evansville.
Evansville, Evansville. Does it, when you've gone through some struggle?
Did we play anybody else? I mean, it's like, and hey, that's the great one that they can't be that because they lost to Evansville. How can they be any good? They lost to Evansville November 12th.
So the point was, in a season where you've had some struggle, Cal, when you've had to kind of grind it out with
Did
this
anybody else lose bad games? I just don't know.
I give up.
I mean, I don't know if they did. Kyle, here's what I would say. I told them after, look, I never stopped believing in this group. I said to Vegas, we'll be fine. I said it, we'll be fine. But I wasn't sure about this, where this is going.
That was Kyle Tucker of The Athletic, basically trying to ask, how nice is it to go from the low of losing to Evansville to the high of being SEC champs in a 4-month span? But all you had to do was mention Evansville, and that set Cal off on that rant. But honestly, I don't think that Evansville loss is going to hurt UK much with the selection committee.
Especially if how are you playing lately counts, right? Which it has in the past. And UK could end up the end of regular season next week on a 10-game winning streak entering the SEC tournament. Add to that recent losses by Baylor, Gonzaga, San Diego State, Duke again. It all helps UK's chances of moving up that seed line.
Yeah, just watching a lot of different college basketball analysts yesterday, UK's a buzz team right now.
Yeah, they are. Yep.
Being mentioned as a possible 2 seed, and all that kind of talk from national college basketball media, I think anyway, does have an effect on the selection committee members who are supposed to be watching a lot of college basketball themselves. And when they hear the experts say Kentucky's really good, I think that gets through.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, still ahead on Out of Bounds. We're going to hear much more from John Calipari, not about Evansville. Also, Bruce Pearl with high praise for the Wildcats and top plays from the win over Auburn. Welcome back to Out of Bounds. Now we're going to take a look at a few individual performances from Kentucky's win over Auburn and hear comments from Coach Cal and the players. It's time for the top plays. They are presented by Kentucky Greenleaf. How about this top play from Emmanuel Quickley? The steal and then drains his only 3 of the game. Quickley did not have a good game shooting the ball. 1 of 5 from 3, 3 of 10 from the field overall. But he got to the free throw line where he went 11 for 11, and he grabbed a career-high 12 rebounds to go with his game-high 18 points.
Emmanuel, they said he was shooting poorly, but I mean, the kid made every free throw he took today. So that's, for him, like if he's not having a good game from the field, he's going to get to the free throw line. He'll draw fouls or he'll get other guys' shots because teams are so focused on him. So, and he's rebounding the crap out of the ball today too. So that's huge for us, and that's big for him too, where he doesn't shoot the ball particularly well, but still finishes with 18. So
I've seen a couple of Kobe videos where he didn't shoot great, but he affected the game in other ways: defense, rebounding, passing, stuff like that. So just try to take little stuff like that into my game, and when you're not hitting, you just got to do other stuff to help the team win.
Yeah, Quick is cold-blooded. Tyrese Maxey was really good, too. 17 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists to only 1 turnover. And Maxey went 7 of 8 from the free throw line. He also had a team-high plus-minus of 11. That's really good. He was simply relentless attacking the rim.
All right, to Ashton Hagans. It's been well documented that he struggled with turnovers in the last several weeks and that his offense hasn't been what it was. But for the first half of the season, Hagans was making a case for the best point guard in all of college basketball. He still leads the SEC in assists. But his previous 2 games against Auburn, in the Elite 8 and then earlier this season, Hagans totaled 6 assists to 13 turnovers. Yesterday, 5 assists, 1 turn, and 3 steals against the Tigers. Now, he's still had a tough game getting the ball into the basket, just 2 of 13. But Coach Cal points out what Hagans does that makes him so valuable to this team. It's not about making shots.
I know Ashton went 2 for 13, but when he goes 5 assists, 1 turnover, 3 steals, and he defends like we will win, he can go 2 for 13. The only person it bothers, him. And his head goes down, and I can't believe it. I missed this dunk. Forget it. For our team, it really doesn't matter. If you defend, you get 5, 6, 7 assists and 1 turnover, and you do the rebounding and all the stuff you're doing, we're going to win.
I don't know that there are 3 better guards in the league, in the country. What team has got 3 better guards that play defense, that can score the basketball, that they're hard to guard? Like Ashton goes to the line a lot. They all go to the line a lot because they're hard to stay in front of. Yeah, I really like Kentucky's team. I really like their coach. I think they do an amazing job. I think they're very, very undervalued. I'm telling you right now, when we don't play them again, I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting for him to go a long way.
High praise from Bruce, right?
Yeah.
Now to Nick Richards, 14 points on a perfect 5-for-5 night from the field. Only 3 rebounds, but 2 block shots. You're going to see the one in a second that pretty much did it for Auburn. And he drew 5 fouls, by the way. Then hit 4 of his 6 free throw attempts, but he was in foul trouble again, playing just 4 minutes in the first half.
Nick struggled, but we all know that's one of the things he's going to have to break through. How about EJ today? Unbelievable how he played. So he's starting to make those strides. Nick's got to know. We're going to get in there in March, and somebody's going to say one thing: just go after him. Physically push him, shove him, grab him, throw him out of the way, and let's see what he does. He's going to have to perform. You know, but he gets 14 points and 3 rebounds, and he gets a big block late with a minute to go, minute 10.
Well, you heard Calipari mention how well he thought E.J. Montgomery played right there. E.J. had 5 points, 6 rebounds. The Cats also got quality minutes from Nate Sestina and Keon Brooks. Sestina helped stop the bleeding in the first half when UK got down by 9. He finished with 11 points. Brooks as well, he had that dunk, and then he tipped in Hagen's miss during the Cats' 20-3 run. There's that dunk right there. Montgomery, Sestina, and Brooks are basically Kentucky's 4 position by committee. So what did they get from the 4 position? A combined 20 points and 11 rebounds.
Oh, they were really good. I mean, Nate making a couple shots was big. And then Keon had a quick foul, didn't come up with the ball, and the guys got on him. Like, we're in a huddle. Come on, man. You got to get that ball. And then he just said, okay, and he started getting balls. He started rebounding. Made that dunk. He was good. Nate was fine. I mean, our guard play was good. Johnny held the fort down when we needed a blow.
And the confidence of those guys just continues to rise as March approaches.
What is it? High tide rises all boats or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's happening with UK right now.
Right. All right, coming up on Out of Bounds, we'll take you around the SEC, plus the UK women's basketball team closing out the regular season today at Vandy, trying to lock down a double bye in the SEC tourney. Welcome back to Out of Bounds. We know Kentucky's the SEC regular season champ and the 1 seed in the conference tourney. That's done. But how's it going to shake out in the rest of the league? We start with LSU, which was coming off a 15-point loss to Florida Wednesday. The Bayou Bengals returned home Saturday and took care of Texas A&M 64-50 behind 24 points and 8 rebounds from Skylar Mays to stay on track for one of those double byes in the SEC tourney.
And just when you think Florida has maybe figured it out, the Gators go to Rocky Top and get beat by Tennessee 63-58. The Vols led by as many as 19 and got 22 points from Big John Fulkerson. However, Florida is still in the hunt, somehow, for one of those double byes.
Yeah, Arkansas is one of the teams on the bubble. They lost 5 in a row while Isaiah Joe was sidelined with injury, but then won 2 in a row when Joe returned to the lineup. Joe had 26 against Georgia Saturday. So did SEC Player of the Year candidate Mason Jones. But as you see, this game was all about the Bulldogs, who handled the Hogs 99-89 thanks to 26 from this man, Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, that kid is a stud. Watch out. So let's take a look at the SEC standings as we enter the final week of the regular season. March is finally here. Auburn and LSU are tied for 2nd, followed by Miss State and Florida tied for 4th. And currently, Mississippi State owns the tiebreaker. So the top 4 seeds for the conference tournament right now are UK, Auburn, LSU, and Mississippi State.
You see, South Carolina is still in the mix, as well as Alabama, Tennessee, and Texas A&M, all 2 games back of that 4 spot with 2 games to play. And then bringing up the rear here, Arkansas in this pack at 6-10. The Razorbacks are going to have to make a run in the SEC tournament to have a shot at the NCAA tournament. And then poor Vandy, 1-15.
Oh, no. Well, speaking of the Commodores, the Commodore ladies, the UK women's basketball team wrapping up the regular season today in Nashville with a top 4 seed and that all-important double bye in the conference tournament still in play for the Wildcats. Well, things didn't go as planned. Ryan Howard had 26 points, a game high, but the doors down the Cats 70-64. UK was up 9, but Vandy outscored the Cats 24-9 in the 4th period to win it. However, with a 10-6 conference record, UK still ends up as the 3 seed in the SEC tourney next week in Greenville, South Carolina. UK gets that double bye and will play Friday night at approximately 8:30 against either Tennessee, Mizzou, or Ole Miss. So they lose, but thanks to beating some of those teams that are also 10-6, they still get that double bye. So congrats to the ladies.
So it all worked out despite a loss to Vanderbilt.
Somehow.
Next on Out of Bounds, some big upsets in college basketball Saturday. We'll take a look at those through the lens of social media in Twitter Fire. Hey, welcome back to Out of Bounds. It seems like every week of college basketball this season, unranked teams knock off ranked teams and highly ranked teams at that. This week was no different. Well, which ought to make for a wildly entertaining March. Who went down this week? Let's find out in Twitter Fire, brought to you by C2G Environmental. TCU knocks off number 2 Baylor 75-72. The Horned Frogs Twitter account tweeted leapfrog. You know, because the game was played on Leap Day. Baylor had won 23 in a row before last Saturday's loss to Kansas. Now the Bears have dropped 2 of their last 3.
Clemson does it again, but they're still not anywhere close to the bubble. The Tigers take down 6th-ranked Florida State thanks to Alamir Daw's last-second shot. So Clemson is now 15-13 on the season, but has beaten Duke, Louisville, and Florida State, which are 3 of the top 4 teams in those ACC standings.
Oh, wow. Did you say Duke?
I did.
The Blue Devils lost again Saturday, this time to Virginia, thanks to 10 blocked shots by the Cavaliers' Jay Huff. Duke has now lost 3 of its last 4 games, all to unranked opponents. Yet Coach K's Kevlar vest prevents the Blue Devils from being affected. They're still number 5 in the KenPom rankings and 6th in the net rankings.
It doesn't make any sense. And another AP poll top 10 team was upset by another unranked opponent today. 10th-ranked Creighton loses to St. John's, and it wasn't close. 91-71. It's the Red Storm's first home win against a top 10 opponent since 1975.
Wow. And finally, from the UK game Saturday, this young man, Nick Hostetter, a 2019 UK grad and Lexington native, nails the Central Bank half-court shot to win $10,000. What do you think his Saturday night was like?
Beers on the house at Two Keys.
Yeah, you'd want to be at the same place establishment he was at.
Absolutely.
You might get a free one. All right, stay tuned. Coach Cal brings us some more laughter next in Coach's Corner. Hey, welcome back to Out of Bounds. Earlier in the show, you heard John Calipari carry on about Evansville. Well, he wasn't done. One more for you. His response to a question about Emmanuel Quickley grabbing 12 rebounds against Auburn, which Cal was asked about earlier in the press conference, but he didn't answer at that point either. Here is our Coach's Corner, brought to you by West Shore Home.
Did you think you'd ever see a game where Emmanuel would have 12 rebounds, since you kind of ignored that? Or did you ever think you'd see a game where he would do that?
I thought the Evansville game he'd get 12.
Well, you know he had been saving that up, the Evans. He was just waiting for someone to say Evansville, and then he just pounced on it. He was ready for it.
But my takeaway from all that is he's swaggy Cal right now.
Yeah,
he knows his team is at a great spot. It's March. He's ready to make a push during this March in the conference tournament, in the NCAA tournament. So, yeah, he was perturbed, but he is very pleased at his team's progress as March rolls on.